welcome to another Quick Review Thursday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got an awesome guest here who hasn't been on any of my shows before, so this is the first time. Please welcome Liz Fletcher. How you doing, Liz?
Hi guys, I'm good. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm doing fantastic. So I was looking through Tubi, and I wanted to find a movie I've never seen before, and I was pretty sure you hadn't seen before. Had you heard of this movie at all or
Yeah.
anything? You had?
No, I have not heard of this movie. No.
Okay. But I was
The
like,
title intrigued me though.
it intrigued me too. When I first read about it, like, I don't know if you ever heard of a little movie called Dale and Tucker versus Evil. I think that's what it's
I think
called.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've actually seen it.
Okay, well,
Maybe that's our next one.
maybe. So Dale and Tucker versus Evil. I think that's how it's versus whatever, but like it's basically similar. It's a horror comedy, and they don't know who's But in that case, it's just accidents happening, or whatever that's killing everybody, instead of like an actual serial killer, and everything. They think it's a serial
Mhm.
killer, but it's just like literally people just whatever, having little accidents. And it's so funny.
Horrible accident.
It's a hilarious movie. And this movie, I think, was just as hilarious. I think this might even been before Dale and Tucker. So maybe they got a little bit of the stuff from that. Also, it kind of reminded me,
2012, I think.
yeah, 2012. And it also kind of reminded me of Zombievers, which is really like a goofy freaking comedy. I don't know if you've ever seen that one or not, or heard of it. Um,
I
but
have all these movies I need to add on my list right now.
Well, I think you just acted in a horror comedy yourself, right? Like recently or something, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So,
It's called Gathering. Christopher Maggard directed and wrote it. It's gonna be fantastic.
and so I like when I saw that you can't kill Stephen King was a horror comedy. I was like, this would probably be up your alley because now, like, if you do more of them, you'll be more aware of like other movies. So anyway, to kind of go into it, I guess the story is a bunch of kids go to the lake, the cabin by the lake that like Stephen King used to live in or whatever, and they basically are going to, which I'm wondering, like, was that cabin Stephen King's cabin? Because they were
I
trying to
almost
find him.
Googled it, but I didn't. But I think he is from Maine.
He is from Maine, and he basically, the kids are going to his town, and the town
Mhm.
people are not happy, but they
I
all,
love the characters. I
what?
love the townspeople. I love the
Right.
townspeople.
And what was great about them was the fact that a lot of them were based on his novels, and stuff.
Mhm.
You got like creepy kids playing ball. I mean, they really, I think Stephen King probably grinned if he watched this movie. I'm sure he had to have seen it or something, like there's no way, you know, they would have, I wonder if they had to get his permission, you know, to
He used
actually
his name.
use his name. I mean, I'm guessing because he's a public figure, they can just use his name. But it would have been so great if we actually saw him, like
I know.
if he were
I
the
was
killer.
hoping that.
I had a feeling there wasn't because it wasn't on IMDb, and I was pretty sure like that would be on IMDb is like him playing himself or whatever. But so I believe they got the idea. The writers got the idea when they actually went to that cabin, in Maine. And so I think that those same cabin they shot at. So I wonder if they just thought of the idea and then, when did other things, then came back to that cabin, when they decided to shoot the movie, or if they were just like, let's just shoot it. Well, no, I have this feeling they had to plan this pretty good because I mean, it was well planned out. It wasn't something they just like threw together,
Right.
one weekend or something, which some people do. Some people make movies just like
Yeah.
that quickly, you know. Um, what did you like? What was your initial reaction when you watched the movie?
Well, I knew this was not going to be a serious movie. So I knew that going in. I actually really enjoyed it. It made me laugh. I really liked the slasher scenes, the gore, the blood. I thought it was realistic, and I'm a nurse, so I think I can say that. um, I enjoyed it.
Are you into that stuff? Like, do you watch the horror films and really love like gore?
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I love zombies. I don't want to say I love murder. That's really disturbing. um, but movies like horror films, slasher films, I love that kind of stuff.
Well, you love murder when it comes to movies, you know, but not real life murder. You don't, I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes. Thank you for clearing that up,
right.
Jonathan.
Yes, exactly. Because you know, you have to clarify that these days because there are a lot of people that like sort of scare me when it comes to things because they really like these true crime serial killer things. They really get into
Yeah.
it and I'm into it because I like the psychological aspect of it and it helps me as a writer to kind of get to know what
Right.
do these things. Then I'm like thinking, does that make me little crazy, you know, to really like that? I don't know. Um,
Maybe
uh,
a little bit. I don't know. That's not a bad thing.
so the was it you can't kill Stephen King. Basically, these people go to this lake cabin that owned by Stephen King or so or around, and people start dropping. People are dying. People are getting dismembered, but it's all in the books from Stephen King, you know, and they have so many different references. I mean, I'm not even that huge of a Stephen King nerd, but I bet there are so many more references that I couldn't catch. Obviously, there's Pennywise.
Yeah.
At one point, there was I think they had a little bit of misery in there with the lady, the lunch,
Yes. I caught that.
cafeteria. I thought
Yes.
she gave a Kathy
Oh,
Bates
I love
like
her.
performance. Yeah, she was my favorite
She
character.
had a Kathy Bates vibe for sure.
And the
Yeah.
guy, the other townsperson that like owned the boat stuff or whatever, I thought he was a
Oh
little.
yeah, he was funny.
I don't know where he was. What like if he was supposed to be a reference to something or whatever, but he was great. He was like one of my favorite
Yeah.
characters too. Um, the one person I was kind of bummed that we didn't really get to like see a lot of that I felt like could be really cool is the warden or whatever the game warden or whatever the
Oh yeah, he just
uh
had a
yeah I like it.
short little bit in there.
They talked about him more and they said that he might have taken their boat or Stephen King might have, you know. Spoilers, I guess. Like I guess we should emphasize this does have spoilers in it. Spoiler being
Yeah.
that obviously Stephen King is supposedly the killer in the movie. But they do try to make you wonder if it's somebody else or if maybe I always thought that maybe the guy was his name Ronnie? Um the
The main guy.
well the kind of the nerdy one that really likes Stephen King.
Yeah.
I think his name
I
was
can't
Ronnie.
remember what his name was.
Yeah, Ronnie. Ronnie was like my favorite character, and the funny thing is they use their real names. You know, they like I guess they
Yeah.
all directed it, which I
Right. Right.
like Ronnie Monroe and Jorge
Hmm.
directed it, and I don't think was Jorge in it. I don't think Jorge was in it. So it's so funny because when you have like three directors, I always get worried about movies like that because each, you know, even more than one director sometimes, unless you're like completely
Yeah.
in sync, you know, like you have to, you know, some people want different things, they have different visions. So
Absolutely.
but two of them were actors. So I'm wondering if they, you know, the other director Jorge was, you know, since he just directed, he didn't act in it. I wonder if he did a lot more of the like worked with the cinematography and did a lot more stuff. But
Right.
the other actors just had more input into what they wanted because they wrote it, you know, co-wrote it together or whatever, you know. So and I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I was very intrigued. I liked this movie a lot. It was funny. It had twists that I didn't see coming, you know?
Yes. The twist in the end where um the Ronnie character. Should I be saying this? I'm giving
Yeah,
spoilers
yeah,
again.
do it, do it.
Where Ronnie came out as the sheriff,
Yeah. Well,
right?
at the end, because
What's going
what
on?
I got from that was, and I mean, if the filmmakers are watching this DVD and or not DVD, this you know, this little YouTube video, if they check this out, please let us know what you what you think, because if we're right or wrong. But what I think happened was that the Irani survived, right? He didn't get killed. And he is a huge
Right.
Stephen King nut. Like, he's into this stuff and everything. So I feel like the town is like people who kind of have survived, maybe, like, not being killed by Stephen King, and all of them just become this like kind of brainwashed town, at the end.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
I
now
can
he's the
see that.
now he's the
100%.
sheriff. He was not. I don't think it was set up where he was. I don't think like he was gonna be the sheriff all. Like, I don't think he was the sheriff all along or anything. Like, I don't think he had any
Right.
ties to things. I think he just he survived, and Stephen King let him live. So he basically kind of became part of this town. And I would have loved to like dive more into that, like if there was some kind of like brainwashing or whatever that they had to like do
Right.
with them, because everybody sort of was very careful about it. They don't like new people in the town. They want them all to get away.
Mm-hmm.
This is a quiet town, they kept saying, kind of thing. So they didn't want disturbances. And so I think there was a little bit more of that. But I dug that ending. I dug that. I dug. So I'm wondering, because you see, and it would especially be more fun to watch it, like rewatch it after
Yeah.
having seen this, because then you can pick up on things like I was thinking about the cook, you know, and everything. And
Oh, yeah.
maybe he was somebody else that was like a fan or whatever, and he survived.
Right.
He ended up, doing that. So who knows?
See, I thought the cook was Stephen King. That's
Um,
what I took away from it.
mm, um, I thought so too at first, but after watching that movie, I'm not sure like if that's what they were trying to go with or not, because I think what's his the Ronnie would have recognized him. Like the dude didn't look
True.
different or whatever. I don't think so, but maybe a little bit, like maybe like kind of disguised a little bit or something. Um
Yeah.
but they said like Stephen King doesn't live here anymore, and yet I guess he still has a place there or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. It's
Maybe it's one
interesting.
of those things they're just leaving open to the viewer.
I know, discussion and everything, and I kind of like those kind of films. I like
Mm-hmm.
films that kind of make you think and wonder what's going to happen, and they don't maybe answer all the questions. Kind of leave it open for possible sequel
Right.
too, which I don't
You think
know.
there's gonna be one?
Not now. I mean, unless they did one like 10 years later, which I mean, I don't know. I don't know how well this movie did, like uh obviously it's on Tubi and Amazon Prime as well, so people can see it on both. I
Yeah.
saw on Tubi last night. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the characters. I enjoyed that in the beginning of it. It kind of showed you like all the stereotypes of all the different characters in these kind of
Yeah.
horror, like slasher films, and how they're all basically, you knew that each one of them or most of them were going to die, somehow or another.
Right.
So yeah, I liked everybody. It was so funny that the first guy that got killed was the token black guy, right?
I
And that
know.
was
I loved him. He was
he
hilarious.
was hilarious. He made my
Why did
day,
he have to go so soon?
because he was the token black guy. That was literally
I
what
know.
they were telling you from the very beginning. And I knew it. I was like, okay, he's gonna separate from the group. He's dead. Like, I mean, that's what happens in these kind of movies. And uh, you
Right.
know, um, I was kind of
Typical.
I was laughing my ass off when they were trying to say it was a bear attack or it was a wolf attack. And I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh.
and they were
So
arguing.
peasants are on the street.
Right. And they're like arguing with the
Oh
people
my
like,
God.
you couldn't hear that, like you couldn't hear that the person being mauled to death by a fucking wolf, like in a car, like, and none of it made any sense, right? But like that works in a comedy, like
Yeah.
that wouldn't work in a real serious horror film,
Right.
you know. But in a comedy, you're like, okay, that's funny,
Anything goes. Yeah.
yeah, because like, oh yeah, but in the same sense, like if a cop told you that your best friend died by a wolf attack or whatever, and that's what they got from it, you can't really argue,
Oh,
you
but
know.
his face is gone, so you'll have to identify something else.
You
Oh
can't
my
really
gosh, I just
you can't argue with the cop of a town that you don't live in, you know? Like
right.
you just have to go find somebody else that will go investigate, I guess, or something. And they never
Mhm.
got a chance because they're all being hunted one by one. And what I was kind of bummed about though was, I guess I don't know if they could get like the rights to the names of a lot of the movies that like Stephen King or books that Stephen King did that were like more famous. Like if they did the Misery, they didn't mention Misery at all. Like you never heard that
Right.
name. But they showed something so you could pick up on that. Um, and I was kind of bummed because I wanted to see her. I was hoping it was everybody in the town that was killing, everybody. So they're all
Yeah.
killing them in the way that they were in the town, like I was hoping that
Yeah.
that and maybe this is what I would have done as a writer if I had written this movie, which is I would have made it so that the whole town was the inspiration
We're
to
in
all
on
of
the
his movies, right? So
yeah.
you get the
That would be
Misery
cool.
woman, and she's gonna be lopping people's legs off or whatever, and doing that stuff, like tying them up to the bed and lopping them off. And so you would see each person you'd see a guy who's like The Shining, and it's like
Right.
all work and no play, but he would say stuff or whatever that you could be like, oh god, that's Jack Torrance. Like I could tell that's who that's supposed to be. You know what I mean? An homage
Yeah.
to. But I think that might be just too expensive because they probably would have to get like the rights to all of Stephen King's books or whatever,
Probably.
and do that.
Yeah.
And I know Castle Rock, the TV show, is sort of like that, but
Ah,
like
love that. Yeah.
but I don't really get like because I don't, I've never really read a lot of his books, so I don't really get a lot of the references and stuff. So I watched it for a little bit. I'm like, if it were like a filmmaker or writer, I really like checked out all their stuff, and everything. I'd get it more, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another try at some point.
Yeah.
But you do like Castle Rock? You've seen it?
Yes, I've only watched the first season, but I loved it.
I wonder if is it still going on? I wonder, like, but I
Ah,
think that's what that is supposed to be like, the inspiration, you
right.
know. It's the town that Castle Rock, I guess, is the town that like takes place a lot of Stephen King's books and
Mhm.
everything. So it's supposed to be the idea that it's like Stephen King's, world, universe where everybody kind of just gets together and lives and everything. Like I think like Pennywise and all of them, like they're in the series, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, but I haven't really been able to dive into it yet. I'm going to though. I swear. And this movie kind of like made me want to, because like that's really what I was sort of hoping that this movie would be. It would be like these guys would be the killers. Everybody would be the killers and stuff. Steve, to the
Yeah.
because Stephen King being the killer is kind of like, really, like, and you're never gonna show him, like. I mean, it would have been cooler if he was like if there was a guy that looked just like Stephen King, like a lookalike, and then at the end he could be the
Surely
sheriff.
they could have found somebody. I
And
feel like they could have found somebody to that looked like him.
yeah, like
I don't know. He's a unique looking guy.
yeah, that's true. I don't know. So I honestly love this movie, and in a sense, like it was fun, You know, it was not. There was some
And
gross
that's what
out
it's supposed
moments.
to be, I think.
What?
Yeah.
What were you
And
saying?
that's what it was supposed to be. It was just supposed to be for fun, I think.
Definitely. So yeah, so thank you so much for checking this out with me and reviewing it.
Yeah,
Was
it
there
was
anything
fun.
that was there anything you didn't like in it?
I think the only thing I would have changed, I kind of wanted to see the townspeople more than this group of friends.
True, I
I felt
agree.
like their interactions were, I don't know, I felt like their interactions with each other got kind of stale after a while, and I just wanted to see more of the townspeople because they were just so interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like at times just them arguing the whole time, about this or that or whatever, just kind of after a
Mhm.
while got kind of boring. You know what I mean? Like it's just it feels like that when you do that, when you have like scenes where the people are just arguing, it's because you really don't have enough stuff else, Like
Right.
that's what I take from those movies, slashers, when the people are you see them all the time. People are just arguing, 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 and I'm like, why did you even like come together? Like what is like you guys aren't friends, it
Yeah.
doesn't seem. Like it and so but I understand like a lot of it's drama and they have to have some kind of drama to make you like interested in the characters. The only person I liked of all the whole group was Ronnie, the guy
Right.
who's into Stephen King. I just thought he was fun. Everybody else just seemed like, like if they killed everybody else and left him alive, which I was fine with it.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel you.
yeah. So thank you so much. I hope people go check it out. Like I said, it's on Amazon Prime and it's on Tubi. I mean, so you have no excuses like, oh, I don't have Amazon Prime, I can't watch it. It's literally free on Tubi. So check it out. Let us know what you guys think. If you get a chance to watch it, it's I think it's a pretty funny movie. Yeah, and if they do a sequel at all, let's uh let's hope that they take my
Figure
advice and
it out.
make it more like an inspiration to the town. Like maybe like there's a whole new group of people that have inspired Stephen King to write these books about them or whatever. But I don't know. Who knows if there will be a sequel or not? Be pretty cool. So all right, well, thank you guys for checking this out and we will see you next month. Bye.
Hi guys.